Hello, hello, one and all. We're gonna pretend this was the start. I quite clearly, obviously, just now started. I've got good news. I have been in contact with people to make new windows and things to get everything to a nice altogether theme. Bumped into online ran into a friend of mine from the military who also apparently streams irregularly, but I liked what I saw, so I reached out to that individual. No blood. We're off to a fantastic start. Reached out to him to see who he used to reach out to that person to start doing like a little contract deal thing so I can get stuff for the channel. I feel like I did that just like I was just under like piercing the skin in my lip. I say lip, it's kind of like the inner part of the cheek. I just chomped down on that hard. Oh. Anywho's, pretending like I have any clue what's going on, we have the game. Huzzah! Welcome to Fortress of Dwarves, where only the most beardy may take on the enemy. Unfortunately, I have not tweaked the request system yet. I didn't have a stream where I did that. I was kind of thinking about maybe doing that for this stream, just doing a massive I go through my notes and you guys throw out little tidbits to help me remember what I was wanting to do to improve it. But as I didn't stream last Saturday, Dwarf Fortress, I figured I was behind the curve in the awesome content that you guys so righteously deserve. So I decided not to. But then I decided to apparently bite through my own lips. What do I know? Why is there a wall up here? Oh, is that to get in and out right now? Probably. All right, let's go. The tunnel from the outside was done, if I remember correctly. This has been mostly completed. That was a way down. Might as well smooth this over, as this is the path to get up there. And the carve in fortifications. I want these minimum to be fortifications. I'm debating whether or not to make the top and bottom area fortifications, because that's where we come in and go out, and I want people to be able to retreat if they need to. We don't want there to be an easy way for the enemy, if they have range, to keep shooting at our dwarves down there. So right now we'll do left and right, and I might expand it to be more of an angle to the left and right, but we'll just work with what we have for now. Up top, I was doing something. Oh, so I had the ability to drain. That's right. Where that led directly to here, and I needed floodgates to block it. I didn't really need too many. I just kind of really need one. But I will put them here as I have made them. That way, any water that does get brought down in here at some point, I could drain out as I need to. Hey, righteous boner. Lava everything. Lava cannons, large rooms for everyone, zombie mosh pit. Now, if I remember correctly, we are down and the magma level. We had starting to get some adamantine, but I need a, we'll say, relatively safe way to pump this up. If I am right, that magma doesn't go above that point. So up here, I could use that to start coming up. If I were to go straight, ignoring the fact that I'm likely to be hitting a cavern that I don't know about, where would that come up? Close to hitting a cavern. As long as I'm careful about that, we won't have to worry too much. And it would come up a little up here, but once we're up here, I have room to spare. So we could try seeing how that would work. If you want, we could turn this around, and instead of it being used for water, we could use it for obsidian as well, or for magma. Just throw dwarves at it to make a lava bridge? I don't think we're quite at the sacrificial ant level of this yet. I don't think we have to go that far. Considering I still don't even have the water system of this done yet, and or the bridge. We're gonna have to wait till it freezes, which is in a dwarven year. Those got built though, which is good. Build trap lever. Now I'll have the lever up here to drain it as necessary. And I believe the way it overhangs should prevent doors from climbing through for now. Hopefully. Still haven't tested to see how much it genuinely floods. Build construction wall. Let's get this walled over for now. We don't need this to be applicable anymore. I think you are done out of obsidian blocks. You are. My memory is a bit off in this base. And this was me trying to remove the overhang. Which it looks like I was doing, but I did it weird for some reason in one area. I don't know. That ramp doesn't need to be there. I don't think I can easily access that ramp, can I? Yeah, I can. And then that's the entrance. This all looks right to me. It just works. And floodgate. There we go. All right, so the water drainage system is complete, other than the water drainage to get the water into the system. That is done. The pathway is done. We don't know how well it's going to work, but it's done. The dwarf found a way to get himself stuck on the wrong side. Why do you hate me? If I do it from up here and build a bridge across, you can cross the bridge and I can try to deconstruct the parts of the bridge in the correct order. That should spare us this insanity. It's gonna have to be what we do. Moron. Hey, if it works, don't fix it. So, what I was trying to bring up earlier, though, because I was on a fence about part of it. So, for other games, such as Wonderful 101 and other action-y type games, as it's whatever's going on is easy to understand what's going on, I'm part of what I had requested or purchased is like a standardized thing on the left for, say, well, not on the left, but off of what the person does. It seems like a good bet to whatever. A standardized side frame, we'll say, probably for chat and or the webcam, things like that. But I don't think that would work well for Dwarf Fortress. And right now I don't have my thoughts collected together enough to figure out what the hell the question was. Oh, yeah. So on Dwarf Fortress, right, this is my thought, but maybe I'm wrong. You can't really reduce the screen space of Dwarf Fortress and it still be easy to understand what's going on, can you? Am I the only one that thinks that, or am I crazy? 'Cause I try to keep as minimalist as possible for Dwarf Fortress, just because I feel like there's so much stuff going on and such little details about men throwing temper tantrums in the library like assholes that you couldn't easily reduce it. Why do these chests look wrong? Why is there just a chest here? I don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna put them in the corner. Whatever has a really low distance. Just to get them out of the way, because they're confusing me. I think what it was is I'd ordered chests to be uninstalled to replace with blue. Except for they didn't take them anywhere, they just threw them on the ground. So we'll install them. At the very least, they're not just hanging around in the way. It looks like it mostly worked too, other than one chest in the middle. Oh, there we go. Got fixed. That'll at least get those out of the way. Now, the idea of bringing lava up would have to be up a Z level from this point. So build construction. No, we don't need to build. We can just dig it. Dig an upstair. Say around here. We'll just have to see how well we can get that magma brought up. We're probably going to, since we don't have reliable source of water in the winter months, unless I create a glitched water state, which we might have to do, in order to do the proper physics, we'll probably have to end up doing windmills. We'll probably have to do windmills to run the magma pumps. As shameful as that is, we can have like a weird little tower above everything, that's just containing windmills, and we'll pretend like we're not dependent upon the power of the wind, like we're some weird fucking hippie elf. Just use the shrubbery. Screw you. There's no such thing as shrubbery power. You crazy bastard. How are you doing, Hellfire? All right, so we're going to be getting alerts by this point. It's going to need to be screw pump, where it draws from, where it puts to, and it needs to be surrounded by a wall. But over here is kind of mostly fine. Other than that should probably also be surrounded by wall, though just to a lesser degree to keep it safe. But you need the axles going up and down on this side. Right? I can just construct the internal walls, but I feel like I need to make this at least 2 bigger. I'll worry about the null space afterwards. Same on the left and right. I'd rather have more empty space to work with than not enough. Trying to find a way to get this to be completely 100% safe. Which might be asking much, I admit, but we'll work on it from there. Also, there's such thing as shrubbery power. It's named fire and heat. No, that is not shrubbery power. That's technically thermal, what, decompositional power? I don't know what that term is. I may be making up a term. Well, we got turkeys. That may be a made-up term, but it's thermal power off of the decomposition of shrubbery. It's not shrubbery. Because nuclear power is nuclear power. You don't call it water power due to the thermal... No. Actually, did I just argue against my point? I think I just argued against my point. Maybe that would be counted as shrubbery power. Because thermal is just what they use to generate the heat. So it would be shrubbery power. Because you don't call nuclear power water power. I feel like I argued against myself there. I must be really tired. Well, not tired, but really not thinking straight. Hasn't Monty Python taught you anything? No. No, all Monty Python did was teach me how to walk funny, and I had to spend years learning that you're not supposed to walk that way. Big oohs to you and yo's, Kamawad. Why is it Kamawad? Why is it ooh communism? Go. I started Shadowbringers already. I think I'm gonna be caught up in a couple hours. Did you just start it? How many hours was it for Alphino and his sister? I mean, you're probably gonna catch up to me in no time. I'm like at the beginning of Shadowbringers. I'm not that far into it. But I do know that there's a lot of hours wasted if you're paying attention to the cinematics for Alphino and his sister. The sister's cinematics are at least, you know, awesome and palatable. Alphino and his sisters are just awful. Why is there just one miner? Comrade comes from the Spanish word camarada. Okay. I mean, that's fine. That's definitely not how everyone uses it nowadays, though. Nowadays, it's even if it's not to be taken seriously, it's a communist joke. Already got Alphino's sister. Now I'm going for Minphilia. Oh, I forgot about the Minphilia plot. Yeah, I forgot all about that plot. Oh, and then you had to do the fairies. I did go further than I thought I did. I forgot about the part where you're just randomly Scotland. Suddenly it's Scotland. Oh shit, I was supposed to send an email to my teacher. I just remembered about that. My teacher contacted the school administration to have the school administration to call me because I had essentially stopped communicating. Like I kind of forgot that I didn't forget school existed. But like once school was over, I was not in school mode anymore. So the teacher had the school call me to see if I was all right. And then I told the administrator, I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'll send an email to the teacher when I got home. And then I got home and I started getting ready for this and I forgot. Whoops. I've got a memory like a Swiss bank vault. Once it's put in, nothing gets back out. Harold Beaver is starving. Why is Harold Beaver starving? Oh, because he's one outside and I forgot I was helping him. Well, I suppose that's a good reason as any to be starving. This should help him. Well, of course you found warm stone. You're digging in the magma. Who is the other miner who never gets down here? So basically, when the Bat in Mega Man X calls Zero his comrade, despite Zero having to fight him, and it's a communism joke. It's always a communism joke. Yes. I don't think there's anyone who makes jokes about gulags or anything else that doesn't throw in the word comrade. Send them a link to the stream so you get another viewer. Well, that's the thing. I think they know I stream. Maybe they just don't. Oh, I mean, they know that I stream, not what I stream. That's very label. Unless it's not important, I'll remember it forever. Dwarf Fortress would be more fun if magma went up to sea levels like water. Well, you're right that it would be more relatable. I don't think it'd be more fun. I feel like more people would die burning themselves. However, I have had multiple times where I've had magma come up into my tunnels and burn people for no reason. Everywhere I read, it's magma doesn't come up, but I always have magma come up. Everyone acts like I'm crazy when I'm paranoid and I try to do shit to make sure the magma doesn't come into the base. And then the magma comes into my base and burns me. Yeah, no, I've had to start writing out. I've been doing research on the new aquifers. So I'm doing a video on that, or I'm going to try to do and release a video on that on Monday for Dwarf Fortress. And then I'm going to cover the new updates that have been released graphically for Dwarf Fortress. And then I will get to encoding. I've encoded, I haven't made public, but I've encoded most of all the Wonderful 101 videos, except for like a couple of the early ones that are like multiple hours long. I freed up like 300 plus gigs. I've got more work to get through now. All right, I probably should have done that. If this is how this is working, hold on. Is this 2? All right, so this is 2. This needs to be done. And no matter how you look at it, I'm going to need to access the middle. Unless I made like a powertrain at every level that came in and alternating things, which now that I think about it is clearly how I would do this. Yeah, I can do this safe. And it is now summer. I don't think I have the action cam set up, but I will attempt to live without crashing the whole computer. Let us see if I can get another camera attached and working in OBS live without crashing the whole computer. The camera didn't even respond. I don't even think it knows it was plugged in. All right, well, the camera lit up. Properties. And then if I do action cam, yes, I got a camera installed. All right, guys. I know it's gonna be a little late for the seasonal change, but we are going into summer, so we should do action-y things. We should be more active in our lives. That way we don't get big and rotund during this horrible coronavirus. I don't even know what count I'm on, so I'm probably just gonna give up at some point. I wasn't even doing these in a cadence or anything. No freaking beat, nothing to go to. I just was pushing. Screw it, I guess. We've now entered summer. I got the, oh, nice. I'm trying to remember, is that the one, you gotta go to a certain mount and do the random event correctly to get the Ixion mount? I don't know why I'm pretending like I'm not about to just smooth everything. Well, the hallways might be made bigger. That's probably what I'm thinking. Do I do it internally, though? Since I just need that little area, I could just trim this in internally. I just spent Moogle tokens. Maybe I'm thinking of a different mount. They've got so many ways to get so many different mounts now. I don't remember what costs what. Have you decided to start going into crafting? After I gave such a rousing speech and inspired everyone to become crafters themselves? Not that I have any ulterior motive to sell you guys crafting materials. Why didn't we smooth anything on the right? Weird. All right. No, it's the same mount. Oh, okay. That is the right mount then. So what, do they have weird event going on right now where you turn into weird irregular tombstones to the Moogle? Or are you talking about something else? I'm not in your data center. I won't buy your shit. You can't get me to buy your shit, comrade. Come on, just smooth it. Whatever. Build. Trap. Screw pump? No. Machine, not trap. Screw pump. Needs pipe section. Of course it does. And we're doing everything with magma. So I have to make sure it's all magma safe. Do you make my pipe section or is it the crafter that does? Because I always get this backwards. It's the crafter. Rock. Is it not? JMQ pipe section. I guess there is no rock pipe section. You have to do it out of metal. Okay. New question. What is magma safe metal? And do I have it? What do I have for metals? For stone. I have hematite. I have iron. I don't think iron's magma safe. I have to break it to steel, don't I? Shit. Make another. Stop it. What is with you? I literally can't. I'm like, you're gonna drive me to the point of like removing that option. If you order the same room every time, I'm not gonna be able to have, like, there's only so many ways I can do a bird room. What do you mean bird room? Because you always say it that way too. That is a generic non-statement. That doesn't define anything. I'm gonna reclassify all of those to require people to be specific. That's why I'm gonna switch over to furniture. That doesn't mean anything. What do you mean a bird room? So far, we've defined bird room as it being dedicated to the birds, i.e. the turkeys, one with bird engravings on it, one with bird statues in it. What is a bird room? I'm basically still drowning in old owls. What does that, what? Or at the very least, specify the birds. I think we've come up with like 3 different versions of birds. You can't just say bird room. All right, I can't smelt hematite, and it won't tell me why. Oh, because I'm hitting the wrong enter, that's why. No, this hematite up top won't tell me, but down here it will. Flux stones and refined coal, flux stones and refined coal. So basically, where's the wood burner? Start making coal. Then we're gonna need flux stones, which I thought I had, but I guess I've used a bunch of. Ostrich, I guess. All right, fine, an ostrich room, or maybe chicken room. It's like fish. That's like saying you want a fish room. There's no such thing as fish. There is no such thing as fish. does not exist. There are things that have fish amended to the end of its name, but there's no such fucking thing as a fish. Soldier Righteous Boner reporting for duty. All right, Righteous Boner. I can do that. All right, Righteous Boner, I got you in. Soldier Righteous Boner reporting for duty. That one I can just get off the bat. That's where I want to get things more towards. Things I can easily be like, this is how you were wanting it. I can confirm this. Another birds and shrubbery room. Stop saying shrubbery. What is a shrubbery? Because remember, the game doesn't have shrubbery. It's another non-word. How are we on booze? Oh, we're down to 300. We should make more. Fish in fish tanks. You're saying that like it's crazy. There's not. That's not a crazy quote. That's not even a weird quote out of context. There's no such thing as define fish. Someone define fish for me. There's no such thing as a fish. You cannot define fish as the wet squidgy things that go in water. Otherwise, everything that flies is a bird. That is not a fish. There's no defined thing for fish. In terms of evolution and everything else, the only place fish really exist is on a menu. There's no such thing as a fish. There's more variety of fish than there are ground animals. But they all just count as fish because they're in the water. That is such a non-definition. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a fish. There are things we identify as fish that exist, but that thing is not a fish. A fish is a non-word that we never bothered to fucking define. It's like tradition. It's like, oh, why do we do this? We do it for tradition. We call things fish for tradition. There's no such thing as a fish. And for that matter, why do we follow traditions? We are told when we're growing up to avoid peer pressure like the plague, but then we're told to respect tradition. But all tradition is peer pressure from dead people. Why do I have to do peer pressure from necromancers? Why are necromancers the only thing that I follow peer pressure on? Oh my God, I hate that answer. Oh, it's because that's the way it always is. No, it doesn't tell you a damn thing. Tradition is a nonsense idea, at least at any point where you're also supposed to avoid peer pressure, and fish don't exist. That's not a goofy quote. That's a legit thing. There's no fish. Cold-blooded vertebrate animal that lives in water, moving with the help of fins. No, but see, here's the thing. That's a non-definition. That does not taxonomically or whatever exist. That is a weird confluence of things. A cold-blooded vertebrate. So here's how I'm gonna do this. A warm-blooded vertebrate that doesn't live in water, that lives with lungs. There you go. That is clearly a human. Or that's a primate. Like, no, it's not. Fish don't exist. There are too many things that fit in fish. It needs to be more defined. An aquatic animal. Exactly my point. An aquatic animal. All land animals are humans. All flying animals are birds. It is a weird thing that doesn't exist. That is, you cannot trace a fish through evolution. You can trace a fish by what it does, which means that's not a proper term. It's like how America treats tomatoes as vegetables. That's not what it is. We've called it something out of like simplicity, but that is not what it is. Shark is a subcategory of fish. For that matter, then we should just hate on all freaking that last one. What was it? An aquatic animal. That one says the last definition you gave me said an aquatic animal. From here on out, anyone that argues with me that a whale is a mammal, I will say, but a fish is just an aquatic animal. So anything aquatic is a fish. Jellyfish, do they count as fish? They don't match the other definition. They don't have gills. Any numerous cold-blooded, strictly aquatic craniate vertebrates that include the bony fishes. Okay, so the definition of fish has the word fish in it. First of all, not a proper definition automatically. And usually the cartilaginous and jawless fishes, another word of fishes, that have typically elongated, somewhat spindle-shaped body, terminating in a broad caudal. Limbs in the forms of fins are present all in a two-chambered heart by which blood is sent through thoracic gills to be oxygenated. At least that one's more defined, but that one defines itself by using the generic fish for other fishes. You can't say a cat is a cat-like creature. They have gills. No, jellyfish aren't fish. Yeah, I know. I went a little far for the jellyfish one. It was the first thing that popped in my head. There's no such thing as a fish. They don't exist. Holy shit, is he pissed off at fish? Squid. There are way too many things that we classify as a fish, which makes it this weird non-category that we don't apply to other animals. Either it is a category above it, or it should just not exist and is a categories below it. It's like saying primate. Fish exists below some other subcategory that they are both defined semi the same. It's the same fucking thing. Fish as a point does not need to exist. But so far, this is an amazing stream. I'm telling you, fish don't exist. There's no such thing as a fish. I know there are creatures in the water. It is not like a conspiracy theory where big government is lying to you about fish. I'm saying through the annals of history, we have come up with proper definitions for things, but we have stuck with the term fish, and that term is no longer applicable. It needs to be better categorized. Fish is just this weird carryover term that we never bothered to get rid of because it's so easy to say fish. You can't look at something in the water and go, oh, that's a fish. So what about the reptiles? What about the reptiles before they do air? I realize two of the definitions would exclude this, but I'm pointing out a point. I'm pointing out a point how a lot of these things for fish are wrong. The one that just said a freaking aquatic animal. The one definition of fish, I'm going off that one first because it's the easiest. I'll go for the low-hanging fruit. I'm not above going for the low-hanging fruit. But the one that said a fish is an aquatic animal would encapsulate amphibians and would encapsulate certain reptiles. And if you're like, well, it doesn't encapsulate amphibians because at some point they're out of the water, then would it encapsulate the amphibians before they're not out of the water, i.e. a frog is a fish until it's an amphibian. Some of these definitions, there's like 19 definitions, one of which you guys might find one I'm happy with, but no, a lot of these definitions of fish are too generic and have not been made specific. Fish as a term should not exist because the definition is wrong. The definition is wrong, it doesn't exist, there is no such thing as a fish. If they have bones and gills, they're fish. And what? Because here's what you're doing is if we pick out characteristics of what a fish is, because like I said, I'm kind of mostly talking about evolution. If we're talking about the characteristics of something that is in fact a fish by itself with nothing related to it, then we're getting into like goofy arguments. No true Texan puts ketchup on steak. No true Scotsman hates potatoes or something like that. Like in a bubble, a definition could be made to make sense, but in reality, it doesn't. We have a definition probably somewhere, but the thing is the term is not fish. While I was yelling at you, we made a tall sheep wool cap. Does that mean the sheep has to be tall or the cap has to be tall? Hold on, before I get back to yelling about fish, the Horn of Soaring, a tall sheep wool cap, worth 80,200 dwarf bucks. This is a tall sheep wool cap. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with sheep wool and alpaca wool. It is made from sheep wool cloth. The thread is midnight blue with dimpled dye. The object is adorned with hanging rings of cat's eye and menaces with spikes of alpaca wool, hematite, and granite. On the item is an image of a pear-cut gem in cassiterite. On the item is an image of dwarves in gold. The dwarves are traveling. The artwork relates to the foundation of ScorchTrumpets by the channels of speaking of the rainy mechanism in the early spring of the year 216. On the item is an image of two hazel trees in cobaltite. On the item is an image of Scourtomb, the raw adamantine table, and apricot wood. For a second, I thought it was going to be that they use raw adamantine again. Back to what I was saying. There's no such thing as a fish. That's not a crazy quote. That is not a crazy quote, and it doesn't make it any worse or better out of context, because I stand by that quote. There's no such thing as a fish. It's a weird term that doesn't quite exist. Hey, Dragon Mers for the win. Isn't it kind of the same thing as birds being dinosaurs because animal families are old and stupid? Yeah, exactly the thing. We at least have defined birds, right? We can identify a bird and we can say this bird to this bird to this bird, these birds up here to this dinosaur. This is birds. This over here went down the path of the primates and monkeys and stuff, and then it kind of regressed to a squirrel or some nonsense, and it's a flying squirrel. So we can identify a flying squirrel, and that's what it is. But we don't sit there and say, oh, the flying squirrel flies, so a flying squirrel is a bird. We identify them as two different things. For aquatic creatures, they identify so much broader than land-based creatures. But for some reason, we do a gigantic honking circle around 90% of it and go, this thing, regardless of what it traces to or anything else, we go, all of this nonsense, it's a fish. Fish, as it stands, the way everyone's using fish is a definition by exclusion. It is not a primate. It is not a reptile. It is not an amphibian, and it swims, ergo fish. That's how we tend to use fish. And I'm telling you that that's wrong. It doesn't exist. That is not a thing. If over 60% of the animals are aquatic and 95% of them share similar traits due to being aquatic, you can't call them a fish. They're not fish. I'm gonna go with modern times and accuse all of you of being speciesist for calling them all fish. That is not what they are. They are aquatic vertebrates. Fish is too broadly used. There's no such thing. We have probably already long since come up with a proper definition for everything. They should be addressed as such, but we're just like, it's a fish. If I put some breading on it, I can put some tartar sauce on it, and I eat it at the restaurant. It's a fish. It's not a fish. And even then, a lot of these fish aren't, a lot of them, there are fish that aren't even aquatic, or at least not for their entire lives. You have like lunged fish. You have mud skippers and shit. They still count as fish because they got a fin. What about the fish that don't use fins? What about the weird little snake-looking fish that are at the bottom of the ocean and are assuredly not fucking snakes? They don't do the fucking snaky thing. They just kind of wiggle around. Eels and shit. That's the word I'm thinking of. Eels. I think actually some of them have fins, but some of them don't. Some of those deep ones don't. But either way, there are just too many things to call it all a fish. Are hippos fish? They are an aquatic vertebrate, you could say. They are an aquatic vertebrate. Admittedly, they don't have gills. Gills is usually a common thing. What people agree is a fish is that it needs gills. But it's such a non-thing. They're not real. They're only fish when we're fishing. Yeah, exactly. This is why it sticks around. Because so many restaurants, and when you prep it, just reference the verb fishing for getting of the fish. And on the little menus, they call it fish. So no, everyone calls it fish because that's what you call the thing that you're eating. Like, oh, what are you eating? I'm eating a fish. What is it? I don't know. It tastes good. That's why all these things are still stuck as being fish, but they're not. They're not fish. The idea of continuing to call them fish because they were always fish is, again, just peer pressure. That's just peer pressure to dead people. And you don't have to follow peer pressure to dead people. They're dead. They won't know. Also,
test. There we go. The Cyclops Stetso Zodsto Dadu Snooze Nud has come. A giant humanoid monster with a single set eye in its forehead. Now you will know why there's no such thing as a fish.
All right, where's our military? Where's the enemy? This is just a Cyclops, so I suspect we can get him relatively easily. I'm not even going to worry too much about telling the dwarves to come in. I'm just going to put the military that we have on killing duty and see what happens. No, I want to follow him. Not to Chulu. I want to follow this. I want to follow him. And we'll zoom in a bit on the Cyclops. Uh-oh. He appears to see someone because he is moving with a purpose. And whoever he was chasing ran away, I guess. Uh-oh. Petrolsky and Righteous Boner are out. Righteous Boner makes sense. He recently volunteered for the military, but why is Petrolsky out here? What? Are you in the military too? It says kill the Cyclops. Do you even have anything to kill him? You have a steel battle axe. Holy shit. Is our chief doctor or like in the military? Yeah, our chief doctor's in the military. Okay, I did not know that. Well, I guess all Sawbones is going to be, you know, inheriting his title. Well, that was over depressingly fast. So they're dead. We'll figure out exactly what happened in combat for you in a second, Righteous Boners. Hold on. Let me get the script to know you're dead. Dwarf kill. Righteous. Not righteous, not righteousness. Righteous. E-O-U-S. Boner. And dwarf kill Petrolsky. Or Petrolsky. I can never remember what he is. And now he's dead. All right, so what happened in that combat? I actually thought we would have had it even with just those two. So because he's here, we're going to go with Righteous Boner first. So first of all, Righteous Boner ran up and continued to miss. And then the Cyclops punched him in the right upper leg with his left hand, bruising the muscle. The Cyclops charged at Righteous Boner, hit Righteous Boner, and knocked Righteous Boner over. But luckily, Righteous Boner stood erect. I know what I'm saying. The Cyclops then punched Righteous Boner in the right lower leg with his right hand and exploded his leg into gore and opening an artery. That was probably lethal right there. The force bent the right knee and split the right knee into gore, and a ligament was torn as well as a tendon, forcing Righteous Boner to fall over and give in to pain before the Cyclops grabbed Righteous Boner's hand and then let go a bunch for some reason. And then the Cyclops punched Righteous Boner in the head, exploding the head into gore like he was the Mountain fighting the Viper of the desert place that I can't remember right now. That is how Righteous Boner died. Chief Doctor had 5 pages of combat at least. Seemed to be doing good, so I'm going to jump to near the end to see if I can figure out what caused lethal. Chief Doctor was doing a lot of hits with the steel battle axe in the head too. So at the very least, I'm willing to bet that the Cyclops already has lethal. They just haven't given in to the loss of blood because of adrenaline. But what killed Petrolsky? Petrolsky says the Cyclops kicked the Chief Doctor, bruising the muscle. All right. So he took out his right hip, forcing him to fall over. The Chief Doctor Petrolsky didn't give up the fight, which is good. And he continued to still, while on the ground, block with the shield and hack at him. He didn't give in to the very end, which is good. But then what happened? Blocked with steel shield, blocked with steel shield. The Cyclops punched the Doctor in the left lower leg, exploding the leg. Yeah, at the very end, it was just a lucky hit to the head. I'm kind of in the way, I admit. I see this now. If I remove the camera real quick, we can read through it. The final lethality was a Cyclops punched the Doctor in the head, exploding the head into gore. But before that was a valiant effort while having no legs and being crippled on the ground, where Petrolsky just kept deflecting with the shield and hacking at him. Wasn't as effective as when Petrolsky was standing, but hey, at least they tried. That means if we look at the... Somehow, if I look at the Cyclops, he has no injuries, despite all the injuries we just read about. So that's good. Why? Petrolsky definitely said, hacked you a bunch. Tearing apart the muscle. Hacks him in the head, tearing the muscle. Hacks in the head, tearing the muscle. I heard the Dwarven command, by the way. Hacks in the head, tearing the muscle. Hacks in the head, tearing the muscle. Hacks in the head, tearing the muscle. Arteries were opened by the attack. This is nothing but arteries being opened. So how come when we look at the Cyclops, it says no injuries? I call bullshit on that. This Cyclops should have tons of lethal right now, and we don't see a single injury. We don't see a single scratch. Do Cyclopses have regeneration? And now, what did I miss? And now he's dead. Dwarf to Valhalla I go. Still the best quote. Could a room be built for KV breeding? This requires a high quality room. Please refund this and I'll upgrade the request. I can make a room for KVs. They just kind of breed on their own, if that's what you're saying. You have two requests. For the KV breeding room, you're requesting me to shove all the KVs in one room, which can be done easy. And then you're asking me not to butcher KVs. So let me put that on the notes too. I'll do it, but that should be use this animal for breeding purposes or whatever requests. That's technically two requests. Use animals in farm. So that should be more of a allow an animal in your farm type of situation as opposed to butchering them outright. But I can do that. It's one hell of a metal way to go. Welcome to Dwarf. That was Righteous Boner who got Dwarf. Rip the TF2 medic. Right though, but that was a bunch of lethal. You're opening arteries and tearing tendons and shit all around the head and neck. How is this not lethal? I don't understand. For cheating, that's frames per second death. No, you can butcher some of them, just not all of them. Yeah, I'll lower the numbers so that there can be a breeding pool. So we have 3 more guys coming out, including the captain of the guard, Stephen Robert IV. Here comes the dog, big and brave. Woof, here comes, he's dead. Oh no. So I guess we finally got him. However, we lost Stephen Robert in there. So Captain of the Guard just died. We'll see how he died. I should lower this from dwarf kill to like DK or something. Dwarf kill, Stephen Robert IV. There we go. No one else appears to have died, but I feel like a bunch of them probably got injured. All right, what is it that killed Stephen Robert? Everyone got involved at the end there because they were just done with this. Once you kill Stephen Robert, you pissed off everybody. Stephen Robert only had 1 page of combat. He was defending himself with a bismuth bronze shield, which probably not the best, but considering it's just bludgeoning hammer blows, it's the best you can do. The Cyclops charged at Stephen, knocking him over. Stephen immediately stood back up and then proceeded to miss the Cyclops. The Cyclops punched the militia commander, exploding his hand. The Cyclops loves doing that. Commander fell over, gave him a pain, and then once he was on the ground, he was kind of destined to die. This seems to be the way everyone goes when fighting the Cyclops. But Cyclops grabs him. He kept slipping off for some reason. He even punched the commander in the head, and Stephen Roberts' skull was so thick he survived a blow to the head. He only bruised the skull. He didn't scrush it, except for he destroyed the upper spine by doing so. So he punched him in the head, and the head resisted the attack, but it pulled with it the spine out of the body? Or split the spine? You're never good if you split the spine. I feel like he punched him in the head and he pulled a scorpion where like the whole spinal column came out. Pulls the neck and the upper spine splits in gore, an artery was torn, and then after that he was just lethal. He punched him in the head again and the head exploded. So yeah, he punched him in the head and his head came out like it was a rock'em sock'em robot or he was fucking scorpion ripping the spine out, and then he punched him in the head again and that killed him. Who else is now dead? Cheeser Breezer is now dead. Oh, I didn't actually see who did lethal. Dwarf kill, Cheeser Breezer. All right, Cheeser, what did you do in the fight? You weren't even in the military, so good on you. You were just like screaming. About a third in the first thing. Oh my God, Stephen Robert IV is really dead. I can't give in to sadness. Cyclops punches him in the face and only exploded his lips somehow, but ripping the upper spine out. God, that is a meaty punch. What killed you? I think he just died from the neck popping. I legit think this one attack is saying that he's punching him in the head so hard it's yanking out the spine. Because after he didn't crush this one's head. Cheeser Breezer's head was never crunched in. He just kind of gave in. All right, what actually killed him? Siege, ghost word. Where is the giant? Cyclops, there he is. What killed you? Wherever the military spear dwarf is. The military spear stabbed the Cyclops in the head with her steel spear, tearing the muscles, chipping the bone, and tearing the brain. So somebody basically went up and just stabbed him essentially in the head. Whoever our military spear dwarf is. Let's get up Dwarf Therapist. And also, I'm remembering that I am doing this way, so we need the crop pad in effect so that we can have more screen space devoted towards Dwarf Fortress. Let me just get that out of the way on the bottom. All right, we'll do a connect, and I'll have to load up the internet so that I can get some Dwarf Fortress in the background. But who is our military spear? An unnamed dwarf did it. After all that, it was an unnamed dwarf that did it. Fantastic. It does say the Cyclops. You got credit for that Cyclops skill. All right. All right. Let me do and the sun is coming out at that wonderful angle that I love so much. Let's cut off the top two. We don't need to see the thing, Dwarf Fortress on top. There we go. And then, while I'm here, I'm going to do a quick BRB. Not going anywhere. I just loading up the internet for some Simon Swirr background music. Because Simon Swirr is the greatest. And if you don't like him, you're a horrible person. All right. And then all enough, even though I am now back, I will be back. I'm just grabbing my water. I don't know why I didn't grab this second. All right. Yo, spears are OP. Are Cyclops the new wearies? This is true. That was the medic. So now we've lost the medic. Fantastic. All right, pause. Get you to be a little quieter. All right. We lost a bunch of the military. We lost the medic. That was the chief medical dwarf. So now it's going to have to be, unless someone wants the job, it's going to have to be Insane Gifter. Since he appears to be the only one that has skills at it at all. Huzzah. But we did kill him. So that's something. I think I dwarf killed everyone who died. And then everyone's redeeming a bunch of who am I's and who are my friends. So in order, that my program over here is listing it. It's not necessarily the order you guys requested it. Dragomin, your friends are. Domine is your lover. And you believe in Melville. You have a bunch of close friends, including everyone. Literally everyone is your friend. All right, some people who aren't your friend. Virtual Spaceman, Dictator Bob, Patrolski. You only barely knew Patrolski. Use Online, Ghost Word, Two Cats Yelling, Gopher, Grogrin. Yep, those are the only people who aren't your friend. Everyone else is basically your friend. If they have a dwarf. Hellfire's now asked this as well. Everyone like asked that as soon as I tried to. Right. Hellfire. Hellfire, you don't exist. You're dead. Does the script say you're alive, Hellfire? Yeah, I see everyone's dumping the points in now. All right, Hellfire, I don't think you're alive. I need you to type in the command so I can see if the script thinks you're alive. That shouldn't. So for now, I'm going to reject yours and refund your money. T'Chulu wants to know who their friends are. T'Chulu is currently pondering the funnel. T'Chulu's lover is Ghostword. T'Chulu also believes in Melville. And not quite so many friends, but over 2 pages. So really, it's more who isn't your friend. And who isn't your friend is Sirlac, even though they are a long-term acquaintance. Curses 18, Stephen Robert 4, Patrolski, and Ghostword, even though Ghostword is your lover. So you didn't really know the last Ghostword, but the new Ghostword, oh, you're all about that. You're all about getting you some of that hot Ghostword action. Except for the old Ghostword. No one liked the old Ghostword. Whoever the old Ghostword was. Domine wants to know who they are. Domine recently wanted to know if you heard about the one about the Bobcat and the Dwarf. Domine is very strong, quite durable, quite quick to heal, and agile. Domine likes horn silver, steel, blue diamond, goat leather, giant snail shell, gems, maces, bucklers, and nightmares for their unfathomably horrifying nature. When possible, Domine prefers to consume gray gibbon, mog hopper, blueberry wine, pigtail seeds, and elephant head amaranth leaves. He absolutely detests slugs. He has a lot of willpower, very good feel for social relationships, but he has poor spatial senses. Curses 18, who most recently thought, let there be peace throughout the world. Curses 18 is very agile, but is susceptible to disease and remarkably flimsy. Curses 18 likes graphite, nickel, silver, tube agate, giant elephant ivory, sheep wool, shields, bins, amulets, catapult parts, and the sight of the Sheena cavorting. When possible, she prefers to consume Pearl Malay beer and absolutely detests cave spiders. She has good creativity and willpower. She has an iffy sense for music and poor analytical abilities. Lastly, I'm showing up a T'Chulu, who, as we discussed recently, was recently pondering the funnel, whose last thought was, be happy. T'Chulu is agile, but is weak. T'Chulu likes borax, rose gold, lavender jade, elk bird antler, ramie fabrics, the color aquamarine, hatch covers, and the sound of the plays of style. When possible, T'Chulu prefers to consume pendant amaranth beer and absolutely detests flies. She has great kinesthetic sense, a great feel of the surrounding space, and good creativity, but she has a shortage of patience and lousy intellect. Did I get the new dwarf, by the way? No, you did not. Your dwarf number was 9. YouTube, I hate you. I'll set that up in a minute to continuously play. But you got dwarf number 9. So you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You are currently our cook, who is legendary at it. You are our Chef Boyardee righteous boner. As everyone knows, if you've got a righteous boner, you have a legendary ability to cook. Made sense in my head before I said it. A couple people were sad for not having good quality meals. So as far as I know, that's a non-glitch glitch that I'm not going to be able to fix. I can go back and make sure that the chef or the kitchen is on, hey, try to cook good quality shit, but they never register a good quality meal unless the meal contains something that they like. So if someone's like, oh, I prefer Pearl Malay whatchamacallits. If it doesn't involve a Pearl Malay whatchamacallit, they're not going to think it's a good quality meal. So there's no real way for me to get around that. They might have fixed that in like the recent update. I don't think they did, but even if they did, this isn't the recent update because I didn't want the file to become non-compatible or to have a glitch, which always seems to happen when I do updates. So this is actually 0.0 something out of date right now. So this version in particular, if it's not the food type they like, they're not going to consider it good quality no matter what you do. which is kind of stupid, but that's the way it is programmed. Like, you would think it'd be quality. Like, it's just a question of definitions. Like, whether or not there are such things as fish, where it says good quality, but really what they're wanting to say is hasn't had a desired meal in a long time. Because it says good quality, so everyone assumes good quality, but it's really just, did they have a meal that they would like? That doesn't sound very hygienic. Hey, free pizza. Ooh, that's not helpful of a feature. Like I said before, the bot says I'm still alive. The bot does say you're still alive. I don't know why. You must have died and I not noticed it. Somebody dwarf kill Hellfire. Maybe I typed your name in wrong one point. Maybe you did die and I typed it in wrong. Remember, I have to work on that, the bot's identification features. However, we did just get Righteous Boner to have a dwarf, so he gets a freebie description of his friends and his description. I will get to you in a second. Righteous Boner, you currently do not have a significant other, but you must have at one point because you have a daughter and only one of them. Your mother is Gobus 2. Eldritch is your older brother. Oh, never mind. I lied. You're getting freaky. Your cousin is Mooney the Human, and you are two-timing Gopher and Coca-Cola 5 together. I don't know which one of them you like more than the other, but they're both on base. They're both active dwarves right now on this base, and you are having fun with both of them. I suppose they heard about your Righteous Boner and just could not contain themselves. Actually, question, what gender are you? Let me go to the description. We'll come back to your relationships. I need to go to your description and figure out what you are. He, yeah, no, you're a male. Righteous Boner's recent thought was, I want to spend some time with family. I'm not lonely. That's almost some like Sundere shit. I want to spend some time with family. I'm not lonely. Okay. Righteous Boner is mighty, but he's susceptible to disease. That sounds wrong out of context. Righteous Boner likes pyrolusite, brass, alexandrite, clear glass, cotton paper, cats for their aloofness, brown recluse spider-men for their venomous bite, the words of the berry of skirts, the sound of the cyclopean velvet, and the sight of the Sheena cavorting. When possible, Righteous Boner prefers to consume wine, flax flour, and pomegranates. He absolutely detests toads. He has the ability to read emotions fairly well, willpower, good kinesthetic sense, and good creativity. He dreams of creating a great work of art, and that dream was realized. Back to the relationships. So yeah, you have both Gopher and Coca-Cola 5 in your repertoire. Now, question, secondary to that. I want to see if they're both chicks. Yeah. So yeah, you have two chicks, Gopher and Coca-Cola 5. And you have a daughter who doesn't live here, so I'm guessing that one was from a third person. You only believe in Rash, who is a deity who most often takes the form of a rotting male dwarf and associated with valor, death, and suicide. Oh, so you're one of those people. So you're all like, oh, the world is dark and bleak. Pulls out like a little fucking ukulele or something. It's so bleak. Let me sing about how bleak it is. The world is bleak. The world is dark. And you've somehow drawn in two female dwarves with this. Because we all know behind the scenes you're not that sad. From now on, I should make sure that every fort that has a dragoman will have a cavey room. This is going to be fun. Now, may my new dwarf have my rooms back, since I doubt anyone would want my bird rooms. See, that is a thing I need to work on, but yes. Dwarf Tinder, when they murder each other, he has a sickness for the thickness. Praise Rash. You have a pet cat, and you have a bunch of friends. I'm not reading the full list, but you can see at some point, this is what they are. They're basically everyone. The people you don't consider your friends are Dictator Bob, Patrolski, and Curses 18. Everyone else is like related to you or a friend or something like that. Now, question. I'm now wondering, Coca-Cola 5, do you hate Gopher? Do you know Gopher is doing shit with yo man? Says Righteous Boner. Where is Gopher? Do you even know Gopher exists? I'm not seeing them. I don't even think you know Gopher exists. I think one of you two is, well, no, if you knew Gopher, if you were hiding from Gopher, then you would know about Gopher. So the real question is now, does Gopher know you exist? Because my thought is, if one of you knows the other one exists, then that means that that's the second one. That's the one avoiding the other one. If neither of you know the other one exists, Righteous Boner is just a playboy of the highest order who isn't telling anyone anything. So now does Gopher know about... I've forgotten the other dwarf now. Does Gopher know about Coca Koala? At all. Gopher has a husband! Oh! Righteous Boner, you're a dick. I suppose that makes sense. Your name is oddly appropriate in the most inappropriate ways. So, yeah, Gopher has a husband, but also has a lover. I don't think Gopher knew about the other one. Yeah, Gopher doesn't know about anyone, really. You have a lot of deities. Oh, wait, no, they might. Coca Koala 5. No, Gopher doesn't go out much. Gopher is a highly, highly religious dwarf. I'm not reading all those gods, but Gopher likes prays to a lot of gods, has a husband, and then whenever the husband's not around, gets freaky with Righteous Boner. So I'm going to say Gopher relationship's not known, but the other one is. So no one knows about the Gopher relationships. Ooh, I'm a slut. All right, now it's not cheating. It's a religious orgy. No. There's one female in there who's religious. No one else was. Now, what is that for? Well, someone died to his injuries. That was anticipated. We had a bunch of people get dwarfed in there. Hellfire Skyrim got redwarfed. So let's get Hellfire Skyrim in there. All right, Simon, please give me a playlist. Thank you. All right. What was it? Dwarf 2? Dwarf 2 for Hellfire. So Hellfire, you are currently our armorer. All right, I got you in as the armorer, and the Nosferatu 666 got dwarf 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The underscore Nosferatu. Your full name might not fit. It did, so you were good. All right, we got them in, and I neglected to pay attention to what you were, Nosferatu. You are a hauler, but you are skilled in animal care, which is a glitch skill that doesn't work, and you would make an excellent backup doctor. You're like the highest suturer we have. I'm going to turn that skill on. So you are a hauler who does suturing really, really well, but no one knows about it. All right. So Hellfire, do you have anything going on? Hellfire believes in Bilbo and only has 2 friends, none of which is a named dwarf. He has a couple of passing acquaintances, though, but other than that, he keeps to himself. Hellfire Skyrim wonders, who cares what they think? Hellfire Skyrim is slow to tire and strong, but he is flimsy, quite clumsy, and very slow to heal. Hellfire Skyrim likes dacite, bismuth bronze, peridot moose hoof, giant desert tortoise shell, hemp paper, the color red purple, battle axes, animal traps, spelt for their beer, the sound of the Queen of Aquamarine, and the sight of the Sheena Cavorting. When possible, he prefers to consume yellow bullhead, rye beer, and pearl Malay flour. He absolutely detests lizards. He has great creativity and a sharp intellect, but he has a meager kinesthetic sense and poor spatial senses. We will do the other dwarf, and then we'll do a YouTube break, which is I click a button, wait a few seconds to click the button again for those of you who are watching live on the Twitch, because I have an archive channel. The other person who got dwarf was the Nosferatu. The Nosferatu believes in Gacket. Most often takes form of a female dwarf and associated with treachery and lies. It has one friend, Dictator Bob. The Nosferatu, oh, it's only double 6. The Nosferatu double 6, last thought was, I'm all right. Nosferatu double six is almost never sick, but is clumsy and very slow to heal. The Nosferatu likes marble, trifle pewter, cinnamon, grossular, pigtail paper, the color sandy taupe, gems, donkeys for their stubbornness, guppies for their coloration, and the sound of the plays of style. When possible, Nosferatu prefers to consume one-humped camel cheese, prickleberries, and blackberry wine. She absolutely detests moonstales. She has a great intuition, a lot of willpower, very good focus, a sharp intellect, a sum of patience, and good creativity. But she has an iffy memory, she has iffy memory, little difficulty with words, and poor spatial senses. I was trying to like maybe maneuver myself to get out of the sun a bit and or work with the camera, but I can kind of half tell this isn't working. I'm more centered now, but also, is this thing trying to green screen? All right, hold on. I'm gonna do something. What is it? Camera in frame. Turn off. Chroma key's not on. So why is that so black? It's acting like that's green, but you're saying no chroma key? Click off, click on. Okay, so it was chroma keying. Don't lie to me. I can identify when something's not green. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna make everything slightly green by putting the green screen in front of the window. It seems the sun is getting worse before the sun is getting better at this particular angle through the trees. I'm just gonna have a sickly green hue from the left, but it is now far easier to see my face. We just have to deal with that weird green. Yeah, if I had on the chroma key right now, how badly would that look? How much do I disappear? Oh no, that's completely natural. Every time I turn over, part of my lens disappears. Ooh. All right, we'll just have to deal with. I think we'd all rather a slight green tint than blinding sunlight. It's not cheating, it's religious orgy. It's a temple whore. It all comes back to Rash. I wonder if any of the other dwarves know this is happening but haven't said anything. I'm guessing I need to pay bits to get into the army, right? No! You don't need to do bits. Hold on. Center my thoughts. I do the channel currency for things like getting into the military. If that's what you're referencing, then yes. But that is not tied to real life currency. If you want to do things for real life currency, support, do bits, donate, subscribe, using Prime, that's fine. But I don't require anything, like I don't need you to do that as like a paywall. I would appreciate it, but I have nothing in me. I do not have it in me right now to put things behind paywalls other than shows of support. That's about it. But the little channel's viewer point thing for time watched, yes. I know that dwarf could be morbidly obese until now. Of course they can. Good morning, Crypto Nim. Welcome to the stream. Another thought stream. All I see is assets. Thank you so much, Dominic, for resubscribing with Twitch Prime. Dominic just subscribed for 13 months in a row. Yeah, I heard that too. You're up over, you're into the 1 year club. You get the full orchestral treatment. But if we pay you, then you put an extra effort in the dwarves defeating the final boss? What? Nothing defeats the final boss of frames per second death. A hunter again, despite it probably being why I died. All right, I can work on that. I think I'm caught up on most all the requests. Other than I want to be Hellfire. Hellfire, what were you anyways? Are you saying you want to be in the military, or are you saying you want to be a hunter? Right now you say hunter, and that's fine. Hellfire, you currently aren't much of... You're an armorer. I can make you be a hunter. I don't think I need you for armoring right now anyways. Yep, that is one of the 2 requests I still have as a cave room. I'm aware of that. We lost a bit. Oh, I keep forgetting. We're over the hour. So, not for anyone here, but for the archive that I'm working on the backlog to get to YouTube. I'm gonna take the YouTube break so that editing is a lot easier. So we're all gonna sit here and stare at each other for 3 seconds. If you're watching the archive on YouTube, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'll catch you guys next time.